The RNC Site Selection Committee met in closed-door session for almost an hour today, and that's where they made this recommendation. And they said the victim was driving down Interstate 85 when the suspect pulled up right next to them and fired one shot into their car. 8 years ago, you know, your property taxes were probably here. But think about it now, you might have 1, 2, 3, 6 $500,000 condos next to you. That's going to change how much you're paying in taxes. They're also going to have to figure out who gets funding out of all these departments, which ones are going to get funding when they start to tackle the city's $2 billion budget. Walk with me this way. As you can see, there is a crosswalk at the intersection, but police say Wheeler wasn't using it. Detective Mike Doty was fighting for his life and in the most critical condition, and tonight he passed away from those injuries. Just to give you some perspective, we're right behind Queens University in the neighborhood, so the school has no power, and now this whole block doesn't have power either. Not even a year into her first term as mayor, Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles secured the city's second national convention in less than 10 years.
I woke up, I ran out here, and the vet was completely engulfed in flames.
This is what's left of Seth Headley's 1992 Corvette after someone set it on fire early Wednesday morning, a dream car he bought only a year ago.
This was our toy. This was a lot of fun for us, and it took us a while to find this particular car in this kind of condition, and you know, and now it's truly up in flames.
Headley says this was more than just a car. It was a reminder of his childhood. He says his dad had the same make, model, and year.
And my parents don't talk to me anymore because of my life choices, and that's fine. But it reminded me of the better times.
Headley says he doesn't know who would do this, but the whole thing was caught on camera.
I started looking at it frame by frame by frame by frame.
In the surveillance video, you see a man walking around the Corvette and then setting it on fire. Police are investigating this as an arson, but the video shows the car wasn't the only target.
Does it look very suspicious that you try and go burn a flag of rainbow while that says equality, and it's only that car that's mine and my partner's? I don't know. I can't answer to that.
Headley shared this video and photos on Facebook, and it's been shared hundreds of times. Now he hopes it will help police track down who's responsible.
What happens if he does this to somebody else and it does catch their house on fire, or the house? This is very serious.
And as you can imagine, Seth Headley says he is still trying to process everything. And as of right now, he says he isn't going to buy another Corvette because he's worried something like this could happen again. At this point, police haven't made any arrests. In West Charlotte, Kirstin Garriss, Spectrum News. Well, Tara, I spent about 20 minutes talking with Michael McDonald. He is the Nevada GOP chairman, and off camera for about 20 minutes, he said that Charlotte has been selected as a 2020 host for the Republican National Convention. He says he is obviously disappointed for his state because Las Vegas was in the running for this spot, but he says he is excited for Charlotte, and he actually credits the leadership of Mayor Vi Lyles and her team for this win happening. He says he said he will be there. He thinks Charlotte is a fantastic place for the convention, and he says he'll try again for RNC 2024. Tara?
And Kirstin, this is all very, just developing. Is this a done deal yet?
Not quite yet. The RNC Site Selection Committee met in closed-door session for almost an hour today, and that's where they made this recommendation. Now, on Friday, the full RNC will come together to finalize that vote. If everyone shows up, there are about 168 members. They need about a 2/3 vote for it to become official. But as of right now, it is still good news for the Republican Party. I know we're still waiting to get reaction from the GOP chairman himself. And with this vote, City Council basically opens the door for the 2020 Republican National Convention to come to Charlotte. If the city is awarded this bid, Charlotte would be one of 4 cities to have ever hosted both the RNC and DNC in the past 50 years. Now, for the past week, if not longer, we've talked about how close this vote would be, and this is how it all came together. Take a look at this graphic. 4 Democrats, Mayor Pro Tem Julie Isolt, James Mitchell, Larkin Eggleston, and Greg Phipps, joined their Republican council members in a 6-5 vote in favor of several contracts related to the RNC. The Democrats who voted against it said they just couldn't justify hosting the RNC in 2020 under President Donald Trump's administration. Now, that's after more than 2 hours of public comment from more than 120 people, sharing both passionate pleas for and against bringing the RNC almost every day.
You voting today?
Since early voting started,
you don't need nothing but your name, and you can walk in there and cast your vote.
GEMINI Boyd has been outside the polls encouraging people to vote.
Someone to give you a piece of paper, say vote for everybody on here. Don't do that. Say, nah, you can give me the information, and I will try to go educate myself on it.
He's so passionate about voting because he couldn't do it for 20 years.
So the passion is there because it didn't start when I came home. It started while I was incarcerated.
Boyd was released from federal prison in 2016, serving 20 years for a drug and gun conspiracy conviction. He says it could have been much longer, but a majority of his sentence was reduced thanks to the Fair Sentencing Act of 2010. State law gives ex-felons the right to vote as long as they've completed their parole. This past week, Boyd successfully completed his probation and voted for the first time.
For me to stand behind that ballot and actually push those buttons the way that I wanted to push them meant a lot to me.
He cast his first ballot in his neighborhood at the West Boulevard Library.
Because this is where all my troubles started, and this is where my new beginning is going to start. So I felt as though it had to be me voting right here on West Boulevard.
He'll be working the polls on Election Day. He says proving yet again that he's taking the second chance seriously.
I mean, I know I've already voted, but to be a part of it on that day when decisions will be made, that day means a lot to me.
Now Boyd hopes his story encourages people to vote, reminding them that it isn't just a right, but a privilege. In West Charlotte, Kirstin Garriss, Spectrum News.